It's November 4, 2021, Thursday. Good morning. I'm Cherina Macan Santos and you are watching TV Patrol Daily News CAS. Your news is our business.
One of the world's most closed-off nations to start easing COVID-19 travel restrictions. New Zealand on Thursday said it would begin easing COVID-19 restrictions that have been in place on its national borders since March 2020. Chris Hipkins, minister in charge of New Zealand's COVID-19 response, said that from November, travelers from Pacific countries such as Samoa, Tonga, Vanuatu will no longer need to quarantine on arrival. The 14-day hotel quarantine period will be shortened to 7 days for fully vaccinated travelers from abroad, with a plan to move a system of home isolation for fully vaccinated arrivals later in 2022. It's time that we reopen to the world. We can't remain shut behind the walls of Fortress New Zealand, Hipkins said at the news conference. New Zealand's on-guard approach. Data from Johns Hopkins University showed that the country reported 96 new cases and no deaths on Thursday. New Zealand was an early adopter of the strict border restrictions in response to the pandemic, closing off leisure traffic to one of the most desirable destinations in the world. It tried a travel bubble with a big neighbor Australia but suspended that in July as the Delta variant spread. That will be all. Back to studio.
For local news, Zamboanga Hermosa Fest highlights slum turned leisure park. Zamboanga City, the month-long Zamboanga Hermosa Festival kicked off with an opening program highlighting the inauguration of a leisure park at the rehabilitated Paseo del Mar. Mayor Maria Isabel Climaco Salazar said the Paseo del Mar facilities feature a newly designed open stage, a children's playground, and a skate park, which she hopes with a place for families to bond under the new normal. Our plan is to vaccinate more people so that in the future, when our COVID cases are down and we are able to reach herd immunity, we can adapt to new normal activities that will allow the families safe outdoor recreation, Salazar said. The Paseo del Mar is a 2.5-hectare leisure park located at the back of the historical shrine of Our Lady of the Pilar. The Paseo del Mar, a slum area years ago, in the city's newest tourist attraction. Salazar said the newly rehabilitated Paseo del Mar is the city's gift to all the children in the area. This is Maria Zina Francisco reporting. Back to you, Sharina.
Singapore reported 3,112 new COVID cases as of noon on Saturday, October 30, as more 14 people died from the complications due to the virus. The fatalities were aged between 63 and 98, had various underlying medical conditions. The Ministry of Health did not specify what these conditions were. This brings Singapore's death toll from the coronavirus to 394. The 3,112 new COVID cases reported on Saturday are a decrease from the 4,248 reported on Friday. Among Saturday's cases, 3,108 infections are locally transmitted, comprising 2,608 in the community and 500 in migrant workers' dormitories. 4 are imported cases. MOH said in its daily update released to media at 11:30 p.m., this weekly infection growth rate is 1.14 as of Saturday. This refers to the rate of community cases for the past week over the week before. As of Saturday, Singapore has reported a total of 195,211 COVID-19 cases since the start of the pandemic. This is Kishin and After Music. Back to you guys.
While government, so how important of election in our government? One of the responsibility of being a citizen is to vote. The law does not require citizens to vote, but voting is a very important part of any democracy. By voting, citizens are participating in the democratic process. Citizens vote for leaders to represent them and their ideas, and the leaders support the citizens' interests. It is also a major responsibility because without it, citizens would not be able to choose the people who will run their government government. We need to choose the right person to make our community more developed and choose the person that will do his or her responsibility. So that voting is very important. So how does voting work in the Philippines? Each voter is entitled to one vote each for the duration of the election. The voter may split his or her ticket and the candidate with the most votes wins the position. There is no runoff election and the president and vice president may come from different parties. The future of our country depends on our voting in the coming elections, so we should also educate our fellow voters.
Welcome to the weather forecast. Now let's see what's the weather in the Philippines look like to have. Manila, Philippines, Palawan will experience cloudy and rainy weather as a monsoon remains the dominant weather system in the country. The Philippine Atmospheric, Geophysical and Astronomical Services Administration or PAGASA said on Saturday. A monsoon trough is a portion of the Intertropical Convergence Zone, where low-pressure areas usually form, while the monsoon trough prevails nationwide. Metro Manila and the rest of the country will experience fair weather, although there are chances of isolated rains due to localized thunderstorms. According to PAGASA's daily weather forecast issued at 4 p.m. Meanwhile, no gale warning was raised in any of the waters nationwide as the rest of the country is set to have a slight to moderate sea condition with 0.6 to 2.1 meters of waves, according to the State Weather Bureau. This is Maria Zina Francisco reporting. Back to you, Sharina.
The Department of Science and Technology DOST in Calabarzon and the Cavite State University are collaborating to boost the coffee industry in the region. In a tape report aired on Friday, DOST Secretary Fortunato de la Peña said that two are working to develop tissue culture growth chamber for coffee seedlings. Together with the National Coffee Research Development and Extension Center, they develop a tissue culture growth chamber to produce disease-free seedlings in even shorter periods of time. Through the growth chamber, innovation tissue cultured embryos are subjected to a tightly controlled environment, thus decreasing the chance of plant contamination and mortality rate. With this promising appeal to the market, the technology is foreseen to open more opportunities for the government and private organizations to put up income-generating tissue culture laboratories, he said. He added that this technology facility will have a significant impact on the coffee and macapuno industry. De la Peña also reported that DOST Calabarzon and CBSU recently launched the DOST Truck or DOST technology in the region for the upskilling of community knowledge. DOST Truck is a food safety compliant and mobile food processing hub currently stationed in Magallanes, Cavite. The DOST Metals Industry Research and Development Center MIRDC is fabricated and tested the mobile hub, he said. CVSU has been partner of DOST Calabarzon in the premier operation of the DOST truck. Meanwhile, the agency has also installed a new vacuum freeze drying facility for the Calabarzon Food Solutions Hub, which is also stationed in Magallanes, Cavite, De La Peña said. This is Ahmad Jainal A. Najar reporting.
Makita lang kitang may ngiti sa mata, makikita mo kay ka ako'y okay na. Makita lang kita ako'y sumasaya, basta't kausap kita, basta't kasama kita. Kita-kits, will magdo ilang oras man ang hingin mo sa'kin. Bakit hindi kung aking kakayanin bawat hinayaan? aking gagawin, kung aking kakayanin. Kita-kits with Macdo. Makita lang kitang may ngiti sa mata. Makita mo kaya ako'y okay na. Hinihingi mo lang naman sa akin kung aking kakayanin. Kita-kits, kita-kits with Macdo.
Two men were arrested early Sunday morning in Manila after allegedly robbing a 20-year-old SK chairman in Infanta, Quezon. Last Thursday night, CCTV footage from the Barangay 420 in Manila captured two people walking at the intersection of Magsaysay Boulevard and Lacson Avenue. A motorcycle with two riders swerved afterwards, and one of the bikers snatched the women's luggage. The women came dangerously close to colliding with the automobile following the motor. The suspect escaped after the women dropped the bag. According to Lieutenant Colonel John Giagi, the chief of the Santa Cruz Police Station, the two suspects were apprehended while riding a motorcycle in front of the Manila North Cemetery on Sunday morning. The two were charged because they were not wearing helmets and the vehicles did not have any license plate. However, because the motor did not come to a halt, a rapid chase ensued. The two men surrendered when they were cornered. One of the men was discovered to be in a possession of a firearms. The motor compartments included a women's bag as well as the other goods such as a wallet and post-dated checks. The woman who was robbed on Thursday was contacted by the police, who informed her that the bag had been found. The victim was in the province recovering from the injuries she had when she was robbed. The suspects also admitted to being the ones who stole the bag and that they had done it in the past. They were allegedly forced to commit the crime. Giagi, on the other hand, said that these suspects were already making a living by stealing and perhaps utilizing the pistol found in their motor. Police advised the public to be cautious as the holiday season approaches when thefts are more common. This is Casey and After Music. Back to you guys.
International news. London were able to control the spreading of the coronavirus because of their active government. And with the help of the citizens of London, they were able to stop and prevent quickly the spreading of the virus because they are following protocols properly. In line with this, transmissions were met with lockdowns, international travels were heavily restricted, and hygiene measures like social distancing, hand washing, and wearing masks. London scientists believe that wearing masks has one result, is that to prevent from getting the virus. Studies have shown that masks significantly decrease the chances of transmitting the coronavirus. And that being said, London has become a normal city already because of their active government and with the help of the citizens of London.
Zamboanga City gets fresh medical-grade oxygen supply. Mayor Maria Isabel Salazar said the local government has purchased a fresh supply of medical-grade oxygen in an effort to help private and government hospitals cope up with the shortage of oxygen in Zamboanga City due to the spike of COVID-19 cases. Salazar said a tank container with some 13,357 cubic meters of liquid oxygen has arrived and said another shipment is forthcoming. This oxygen was procured by the local government from Tayo Nippon Sanso Philippines Incorporated in Misamis Oriental, province where it has a plant in Tagoloan Town. The mayor said that the purchase of the oxygen was facilitated by the Department of Health and the National Government Interagency Task Force for Management of Infectious Diseases, or the NIATF. The oxygen shipment was equivalent to 2,300 cylinders of 50 pounds each. Oxygen weighs 0.00142 grams per cubic centimeter or 1.429 kg per cubic meter. She added that the oxygen will be distributed to Zamboanga City Medical Center, or the ZCMC, some private hospitals, and the COVID-19 isolation facility in Barangay Pasunangka. The ZCMC alone uses at least 350 cylinders of oxygen for its COVID-19 wards. In September, the local government also purchased 1 tank of liquid oxygen from Cebu province and distributed it to hospitals. Zamboanga City now has 2,300 active COVID cases.
Business local news. Philippine debt hits new high of 11.92 trillion, additional borrowings to cover revenue decline. Weaker peso led to the September record. Treasury data show additional domestic and foreign borrowings, plus a weaker peso further hiked the national government's outstanding debts to a new high of 11.92 trillion in September. The latest Bureau of the Treasury data on Friday showed end September outstanding obligations climbed 2.4% from 11.64 trillion in August and jumped 27.2% from 9.37 trillion a year ago. Domestic debt, which accounted for 70.4% of the total, inched up to 2% month-on-month and grew 30.3% year-on-year to 8.39 trillion as of September. Bigger volume. In a statement, the Treasury said locally sourced debt further rose month-on-month on the back of a net issuance of Treasury bills and bonds, or a bigger volume of government securities sold in September than those that matured. A net of 167.45 billion in EUs were added to the domestic debts pile last month, Treasury data showed. The external debts stock, meanwhile, rose 3.1% month-on-month and 20.4% year-on-year to 3.53 trillion at the end of the first 9 months. On top of the net of 43.99 billion in foreign loans, which took effect last month, the peso's depreciation to 50.8791 $1 in end September from 49.762 against the US dollar on August also added 76.82 billion to the national government's external obligations. Economists lumped the debt to gross domestic product ratio, which reflected an economist's ability to repay its obligations, had been programmed to end 2021 at a 16-year high of 59.1% as the national government's outstanding obligations were expected to settle at 11.73 trillion by year-end. Amid the pandemic-induced economic slump, lower revenues forced the government to borrow more through concessional loans extended by multilateral banks and bilateral development partners, as well as bond issuances in domestic and offshore commercial debt markets. This jacked up the Philippines' debt to GDP to 54.6% in 2020 from a record low 39.6% in 2019. Meanwhile, for the international news, US stocks overcome inflation fears, but Europe succumbs. New York, after a lackluster start to the day's trading, the Dow, Nasdaq, and S&P 500 all made new records by the close, though the gains were not particularly large. Traders overcame U.S. Commerce Department data showing inflation rising 4.4% in September compared to the same month in 2020, its biggest jump since January 1991, as well as Apple and Amazon results that were dented by supply chain troubles. The market has been all over the place, said Peter Cardillo of Spartan Capital Securities, noting the government also reported an unexpectedly large decline in income and a less surprising increase in spending last month. Earlier in the day, Asian stocks markets finished mixed, while European indices mostly retreated after data showed Eurozone inflation rising. The dollar rose against its main rivals, gaining 1% against the euro as speculation mounts that the Federal Reserve will announce next week plans to pull back on its monthly bond purchases. Inflation everywhere. The Eurozone economy was so far maintaining its steady recovery from COVID-19 restrictions, growing at 2.2% in the third quarter of the year, according to the data released Friday. But year-on-year inflation hit 4.1% in October, more than double the European Central Bank's target and tying the record rate last seen in July 2008. As energy prices jumped almost a quarter, the agency said. Analyst Michael Hewson at CMC Markets called the annual increase another reminder of the risk of the ECB current ultra-loose monetary policy and said it adds to the pressure on a central bank that appears to be in denial as markets price in ever-increasing inflation risk. The Federal Reserve is also not expected to lift its rate from zero until next year, though the Bank of England may next week raise its lending rate from a record low 0.1%. In Asia, Hong Kong and Shanghai stock markets were handed some support by a report that property group China Evergrande had made an overdue interest payment ahead of a Friday deadline, buying it a little more breathing space as it struggles to address a debt crisis that many fear could spill over into the wider economy. Local celebrity news. Jeneline Mercado, Dennis Trillo are engaged, expecting first baby together. Celebrity couple Jeneline Mercado and Dennis Trillo are engaged to wed and are expecting their first child, they announced on Friday. The pair shared the news via Mercado's YouTube vlog, which chronicled Trillo's wedding proposal as well as the confirmation of the actress' pregnancy. Trillo proposed to Mercado on October 8, according to the vlog, the first episode of a series they dubbed After All. They have yet to announce their wedding date. Mercado is 34 and Trillo is 40, are nearing their 8th anniversary as a couple in January. Both have respective teenage sons from their previous relationships. Mercado has Alex Jess with actor Patrick Garcia, while Trillo has Calix with former actress Charlene Aguilar. I don't need any relationship. Heaven Paralejo confirms split with Kiko Estrada breakup rumors between Heaven and Kiko first started circulating in September. A month after they went public with their relationship, after weeks of speculation, Heaven Paralejo has finally confirmed that she is no longer in a relationship with Kiko Estrada. In a Drink or Spill vlog released on Monday, October 25, Heaven was asked about her relationship status. I am single but not ready to mingle, she said. The 21-year-old actress added that she has already moved on and is now enjoying her life. Nandito ako sa phase na I'm at this phase where it's cliche but I'm just loving myself. I'm getting to know me, she said. I want to learn independence and enjoy life. I don't need any relationship. I just need my friends and I just need me. I am really happy right now. Super happy. As in, walang bigat sa puso ko. Nandoon ako sa phase na yon. I am at this point in my life where my heart doesn't feel heavy anymore. Heaven shared. Breakup rumors between the two started circulating in September when fans noticed that Kiko removed photos from his Instagram account and had stopped following the actress. At that time, Heaven was still following the actor on the platform and still had photos of them on her account. 2 weeks later, Heaven eventually unfollowed Kiko and deleted all photos of the actor on her Instagram profile. In an August 25 interview with Ogie Diaz, Kiko denied the cheating allegation, saying that there was no overlapping of relationships. I'm not a cheater and Heaven's not a third party. There's nothing like that happened, Kiko said then. Kiko and Heaven had acted together on ABS-CBN, Bagong Umaga series, which ran from October 2020 to April 2021. So going to international celebrity news. Gigi Hadid and Zayn Malik break up after 6 years together. Gigi Hadid and Zayn Malik have gone their separate ways according to multiple reports. The former couple is said to be focusing on their 13-month-old daughter in the wake of the split. They are not together right now. They are both good parents though. A source told People. They co-parent. The news comes after allegations surfaced that Malik struck Hadid's mother, Yolanda, during an altercation. People reports that according to court documents, he pled no contest to multiple charges of harassment against both Yolanda and Gigi. Malik previously denied any wrongdoing. I adamantly deny striking Yolanda Hadid, and for the sake of my daughter, I decline to give any further details. And I hope that Yolanda will reconsider her false allegations and move towards healing these family issues in private, he said in a statement to TMZ. The model and singer first confirmed their romance in 2016. After a breakup in 2018, they rekindled their relationship in 2019. In September 2020, Hadid gave birth to their daughter Kai. Khloe Kardashian and daughter Drew test positive for COVID-19. Khloe Kardashian has confirmed that she and her daughter Drew have both tested positive for COVID-19. The reality star left fans in shock as she shared the truth about her and daughter's health, saying, "Hi guys, I wanted to let you know Drew and I tested positive for COVID. Luckily, I have been vaccinated, so all will be okay. We will be over here in quarantine and following current guidelines," she added. The influencer also said that she has had to cancel multiple commitments and she is sorry she won't be able to make those happen. This is Kardashian's second time with the virus. It was revealed that she had been diagnosed with COVID-19 in March 2020 in an October 2020 promo for the last season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, which aired in March 2021.
Inaamin ko na kay tagal pa bago nakalimutan ito. Muntik na nasanay ako sa aking pag-iisa, at kaya nang iwanan ng bakas ng kahapon ko. Tuloy pa rin ang awit ng buhay ko, bagong nag-ibig ng puso mo. Handa akong habulin ang aking mundo, pagkatuloy pa rin. Welcome change with the new Burger McDonald.
Sports News Headline: Jonah Sultan scores 4 knockdowns to upset the undefeated Carlos Caraballo. The Filipino pugilist dominated the erstwhile undefeated Carlos Caraballo, knocking Carlos Caraballo 4 times, not only thrice but 4 times, to win via unanimous decision and take the WBO Continental Bantamweight title in Sunday, Manila time at Madison Square Garden. Sultan showed his class, strength, and sent the 25-year-old Caraballo in the canvas in the second, third, sixth, and ninth round of a 10-rounder bout.
Songwriter Ed Sheeran released on Friday, October 29, 2021 his highly anticipated album Equal, composed of 14 tracks. The album includes earlier released singles Bad Habits, Visiting Hours, and Shivers. Equal also marks Sheeran's first album in 4 years since the release of Divide in 2017. This is my favorite album I've made. I'm so proud of it. Thank you to all the wonderful people who worked on it with me. To the fans, I hope you love it as much as I do. It's been a long journey to this point, Sheeran said in a tweet. Sheeran has previously mentioned how the newest album is a reflection and culmination of his experience in his personal life. He got married to Cherry Seaborn in December 2018, took a hiatus from the music industry in August 2019, and welcomed his daughter Lyra Antarctica Seaborn Shira in September 2020. I started writing and recording this album in June 2017. It's been a long process. I've been through love, loss, new life, grief, and everything in between during the whole period of writing it. And I feel like it's really coming of age record, he said during the album announcement. In truth, Sheeran fashioned the pop ballad songs in Equal are full of sentimentality. He sings about fatherhood in Sandman and Live Your Life, opens up about his career in Tides, mourns the loss of a friend in Visiting Hours, and confesses his love for his wife in tracks The Joker and the Queen, First Times and Two Step. This is Ahmad Jainal Inajar reporting.
Science and technology. Through science and technology, it is easier for inhabitants to communicate with other people around the globe. It is also significant in the field of business because transactions and other events are done through the computer. Science and technology enables every people to live in an easy and modern way of life. The essence of how science and technology contributes to society is the creation of new knowledge and then utilization of that knowledge to boost the prosperity of human lives and to solve the various issues facing society. So how technology and science are related? Science is the study of the natural world by scientific method, collecting data through a systematic process. And technology is where we apply science to create devices that can solve problems and perform different tasks. Technology is literally the application of science. The advantages of science and technology are: first, it will make our life easier. Next is it will help us organize our daily activities. The third is this helps our work can be done faster. Next is help us to communicate more easily with others. And lastly is this will help us to better know and understand other cultures and societies. By discovering science, scientists are able to create something that can immeasurably improve the quality of life. For examples, computers, telephones, televisions, planes, and so on. On the other hand, the disadvantages of science and technology are: first, it can be easily handled by irresponsible people. Next is we will be too dependent on that. When technology fails, we are hopeless. Next is sometimes it affects our health and our lifestyles, like we will be complacent and lazy. Next is destroys our simple and healthy life, like the traditional lifestyle that we have. Lastly is invasion of our private life. So there are also disadvantages of science and technology. First, it increases anxiety in our lives. Second, when technology falls in the wrong hands, it can have a negative impact on society, such as the rising rate of cyber criminality, hacking, theft of personal information, and pornography websites. Third, technology has also increased alternatives and opportunities for terrorists. In addition, technology has removed our physical efforts and we are getting more luxurious and comfort living. We cannot avoid the inconveniences that come with the benefits of technology. Thank you for all the informations. Well, that's all we have for today. I'm Cherina Macan Santos and I'll see you next week.